It's easy to say that.
Got him sort of missing.
Okay, this is a song that the words come from Lord Buddha. The melody, I think it came from Buddha's time and it was stolen by the English and made into a Christmas song.
Good afternoon and welcome once again to a very special event and a very special day here on a number of levels. We're so honored and delighted to have with us not only a teacher, as many of you know, of great esteem and wisdom, but also, as many Princetonians among us might know, one of our own, so to speak. Class of 75, is that correct, Geshe? We're so honored to have with us Geshe Michael Roach, who forever will be known in Princeton with the number 75 after his name. And it really is such a delight to have him back to share with us not just knowledge but experience, not just wisdom but lived wisdom. My name is Vineet Chandler, and I have the honor and privilege of directing the Hindu Life program here through the Office of Religious Life. I also have the privilege, of serving on Princeton University's Yoga Council. And this is a body that's been formed precisely to bring about awareness, collaboration, and increased participation in yoga, mindfulness, and the very positive energy that such practices bring. This program is part of the Yoga Council's Masters series, and it's so appropriate that Geshe Michael is in some ways kicking off this series for us, being a Princetonian as he is. We'll have a talk on the Yoga Sutras and the Tibetan Lady Niguma yoga system, perhaps a comparison and a bit of contrast, if I understand correctly. And then we'll have an opportunity to actually take it to the mat, so to speak. After our talk and question and answer session here, at 4:30, we will have a practical yoga asana workshop that's over at Dillon Gym, and there are folks to direct you there and some signage to direct you there for those who are a little unfamiliar with campus. That will be at 4:30 to 6. And then we welcome you back here to this hall at 7 p.m. for a lecture and a musical experience titled The Enlightened Businessman, which, again, very appropriate for those of you who know a little bit about Geshe Michael's background and experiences. I won't go into detail there because I'm actually hoping that you will come in the evening and that we will hear from Geshe himself about some of those experiences, about what it really means to be an enlightened businessman, where that intersection is. But I will say this. One of the things that we're so excited about in presenting a series like this one is really to dispel the notion that yoga and yoga practice is about escaping the world. I think what we'll find here, I think what we'll feel here, and what we can take away this afternoon and this evening is the idea of yoga as deeply engaging, as helping us to engage with the world. And I couldn't think of a better person to kick that off than Geshe Michael Roach, someone who excelled in his time as a student here, someone who went on to undergo rigorous training, breaking new ground, being awarded the scholarly title of Geshe, a first, I believe, for someone who is American-born. But someone also who simultaneously, practically speaking from the ground up, created a successful business enterprise built on the very same principles that guide his meditation and yoga practice. And to be able to bring those two worlds together, I think, speaks volumes about that idea of engagement. So, in just a moment, I'll turn it over to Geshe Michael to enlighten us on these topics. But once again, on behalf of the Yoga Council, on behalf of the Office of Religious Life, on behalf of Princeton University's Yoga Club, the student organization dedicated to yoga on campus, we would like to extend our most heartfelt and warmest welcome back to Geshe Michael Roach.
Hi. Let's just go straight to the Yoga Sutra, okay? Can everyone get a piece of paper? I'd like to thank everyone who got us here, especially Charles Bryan. I don't know where he is. He's probably out working. But everyone worked hard to get this event going. I'd like to thank everyone. And Vinit, thank you for the kind introduction. So in the opening lines of the Yoga Sutra was written, I believe, nobody knows for sure. I think it was written probably 200 AD, something like that, 18 centuries ago. And it's one of the first great books about yoga. It's 210 verses in Sanskrit. Only one or two of the verses talk about physical yoga practice, and then the rest is talking about how to apply yoga in your life. So I'm just going to jump straight in. I'd like you to go to page 3. And these are some of the opening lines of the Yoga Sutra. At the bottom of the page, Patanjali, Master Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Sutra, he says, Yogash Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Say Yogash Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So he defines, in the opening lines, he defines yoga in a very, very unusual way. Okay, I'll tell you a story. Should I tell? Yeah. Okay. When I graduated from Princeton, I went to a Buddhist monastery. Actually, I was sent by the Woodrow Wilson School. in 1970, well, a long time ago. I got to go to India. In those days, they would send your scholarship money over with you. And I got to study where the Dalai Lama lives. And I started 25 years of study there in a monastery called Saramay, which is one of the it's part of the big three monasteries in Tibet. In Tibet, those monasteries had about 8 to 10,000 monks in each monastery. So my monastery, it was just being refounded by refugees. 108 monks survived from the 10,000 in my monastery, the attack of Tibet. And they started a new monastery in India and started over. Now it's back to 3,000, almost 3,000. When I was a student here, we were collecting clothing for them. It was cool. That's how we started. If you know ACIP, that project started next door. So, I went and I studied for 25 years. And then at the end of the process, they give you an exam. The exam lasts for 3 weeks. It's all oral. And people debate. I don't know if you've seen Tibetan debating. I won't do it to you, okay? But it looks like karate or something, and you jump up and down, and you scream, and you slap hands, and you maybe slap the guy also. And then you ask each other questions. And it's a dialogue. It's a Socratic dialogue. And you are debating with each other. And so the last exam for 3 weeks is in public, with about 1,500 monks there. You're examined by everybody. 1,500 monks can come up and ask you questions. So then, you finish that. In my monastery, the schedule is very, very demanding. It's very, very, it's not like peaceful people sitting around meditating. It's like you get up at 4 and, you're debating early and you speak, it's rough. It's really hard schedule. It's exhausting. And you don't get any break. If you make it to Geshe, it's just because you didn't die or you didn't leave the monastery. So I had 60 guys started with me, and there were only 4 at the end. And so then you go, you do your exams, but then there's this whole catharsis at the end. You're like, you finish your last question, and then you finish your exams, and then they say, Geshe Tang. Geshe Tang means to finish your Geshe, but it also means the same verb means to throw away your Geshe. So it's a joke in the monastery, that you finish your exam, and then you throw away your Geshe, and then you just relax for the rest of your life. And so I was relaxing in my room, and my mom came, my stepmother came, and they honored the parents. She was there the day I started. The day they made me a monk, she was there. And she came 25 years later. And they honor her, they pile scarves on her, silk scarves, and and then I got this message, you have to come to the abbot's quarters. And then you go up the temple stairs, and 3 stories of stairs, like a winding stone staircase, and then you have to cross the top of the temple, and then you go up some more stairs, and then it's like a potala, but a smaller one. And then the abbot is there. And then the only reason you ever go to the abbot is 2 things. One is if you want to leave the monastery to see your parents or something, visit somebody, you have to go ask permission, of the abbot. And then the only other reason to go there is to get disciplined. And if what you did was not so bad, you get disciplined with a rosary. Why are Tibetan monks so well behaved? They get a rosary on their head. You can hear a guy getting, what do you call it, discipline. You hear this ripping sound. And then he comes out and he's got dots across his forehead. Everybody makes fun of you all day. If what you did was worse, they use an extension cord on your butt or your head. And then if what you really did was bad, you get a fan belt on your butt. like 4 guys hold you down and somebody whips you with a fan belt. So that's why Tibetan monks are so peaceful. And then so anyway, I was nervous because why would the abbot want to see me? Like I just finished my exams, and so I went up there, and there was a teacher of mine was there. He was my logic teacher. So in the monastery, you have to study logic for like 4 months a year, from the time you're 7 years old. And, so he's sort of a dry guy. And, so I said, yes, master, what do you need? And he said, come with me. And then he took me in this little room behind the abbot's quarters. And it's a secret room, but everybody knows about it because all the secrets everybody knows the secrets in a small monastery, in a monastery it's like a small town. So there's a throne there. Throne meaning a high platform, like 5 feet high. And then only the abbot's allowed to sit there. And then my teacher took me in there and he said, okay, get on the throne. And then I'm like, no way, you thought it was a trick, So then they take me out and fan belt me, So you can't touch the abbot's throne. The little tiny monks, there's a rumor among them that the reason you can't touch the abbot's throne is it has fleas on it. So they won't touch it. Bed bugs, lice. Okay, but anyway, so he said, no, really, you have to get up on the throne. So I got up on the throne. And then he left and he locked the door. And then it was about 2-3 hours on the throne. And then it was very beautiful. Like all these beautiful things happened on the throne. The beautiful, beautiful visions and things like that. Very, very special. And then he came back in and he opened the door and he said, okay, now you have to start secret Buddhism. Higher, they call it Vajrayana. The secret path, and I said, well, in our monastery in Tibet, you only can study the secret teachings if you finish a Geshe, because they figure you're mature enough if you survive, right, 25 years. So I said, okay, what's the secret? How do I start? And he said, we're going to start with yoga, And then I'm like, Tibetans don't do yoga, He said, why do you say that? And I said, I've never seen a Tibetan monk do yoga, And he said, he leans over, he had this standard answer that he used to give me. He'd say, there's lots of things you haven't seen, And then I said, well, who teaches yoga in the monastery, He says, I'm the yoga teacher. I said, you're the logic teacher. He says, yeah, but I'm the secret yoga teacher. And then he started to teach me, Yuche Sumden. Jetsun Kapa's famous book on Nirodha's Yoga, okay? And he started to teach us that. And it was amazing. And it was beautiful. And we did yoga. We did yoga asanas. So in Tibet, it's a high honor to be allowed to do the asanas. The asanas are considered, the physical poses of yoga are considered very, very holy and very high practice. And you have to finish a Geshe in Tibet to be allowed to practice yoga. So he started to teach me yoga, and then he said, that was 95. Then he said, you have to do a 3-year retreat. You should be preparing to do a 3-year retreat. So this is 3 years, 3 months, 3 days you spend in a small hut by yourself, and you don't speak for 3 years. You just meditate, and you don't see anybody. They feed you food through a little door, like a little box. They put food. My cook is the person who fed me is here, but she would put food outside. I didn't see her for 3 years, and they would fix food and put it outside in a box, and then you go and you open this little trap door and you pull the food out, and you spend 1,000 days that way. So he was preparing me for 3-year retreat, and he said, you have to do a 3-year retreat. You'll be doing this yoga. And then I went back to the States. I was in New York. I was preparing, the place to stay and all that. And then he said, somebody said to me, if you're going to be stuck in in a hut for 3 years, maybe you want to learn some other exercise. You know? So I thought, oh, I'll learn some. I was really attracted to Indian dance because I play Indian music, right? So I thought, oh, I'll go, learn some Indian dance. So I got the Indian newspaper in New York, and there were like 20 dance teachers listed, and I called each of them, and they were all busy. And nobody was in town, and nobody could go. And then somebody said, you should go to, there's this yoga center in New York called Jivamukti. They said, you should go to Jivamukti and you should learn some, Western style yoga, Hindu style yoga. Then I knew about the school. There's very famous teachers there, David Life and Sharon Gannon. So I said, oh, those are those Hindu people, I don't know if I want to go there, because they'll probably make me sing Hare Krishna songs. And I said, it's not good for a Buddhist monk to sing Hare Krishna songs. And then they're going to make me worship these statues of Ganesh, the guy with the elephant nose, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do all that, It's sort of improper in my mind. I thought, oh, I can't do this, Then somebody said, no, you should just try it once, Go to the class once. And then I said, I'll go, but it has to be a private class. I don't want anybody to see me there. So we arranged it early in the morning. It was incredibly expensive, private class with David Life. And I went up in the elevator. I remember the whole thing, and the elevator opened, and there was a 5-foot-high stone Ganesh. He's just staring at me. And I'm like, see, I told you they're going to be Ganesh. They're probably going to make me bow down to Ganesh. And then, even in the elevator, you could hear this chanting, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And I'm like, oh no, they're going to make me do Krishna songs, And I was really, And then I put my shawl over my head, and I went into this little private room on Lafayette Street, right? And we went in there, and then David started to teach me yoga. The yoga that's practiced everywhere. The poses that everyone practices around here. And something happened about half an hour into the teaching. I realized that the poses were all the same as what my Tibetan Lama was teaching me. The poses were like 90% the same. And then I thought, this is really strange. This is weird. They're exactly the same poses. And then I went back to the monastery. I saw my teacher, and he said, what's going on? And I said, oh, I went to a yoga class in America, And he said, how was it? And I said, well, something really weird. And he said, what? And I said, your big secret yoga. He said, there's people who know about it in America. And he looks at me, and he's like, how many? And I said, I saw the Wall Street Journal the week before that. It said 20 million Americans. He said 20 million. I said, yeah. And then he started. He got like this, And then I was like, oh, it's too bad. My teachers. There's a word in Buddhist Tibetan language for professional jealousy among spiritual people. There's a separate word because it happens everywhere, right? So it's called PQ. And then I said, oh, my Lama has PQ. He's jealous of these people that his big secret got out, And I said, Rinpoche, don't feel bad. It's okay. They don't really know what they're doing. They just want to lose weight, And then he said, no, you don't understand. And I said, and anyway, you don't have to study for 25 years, you just pay $15, and you get the secret yoga, And he's like, $15? Anybody can go? And I'm like, yeah. And then he goes like, then he starts to cry, And I'm like, this is really bad. And then I said, Rinpoche, don't be so upset. It's okay, And then he said, no, you don't understand. I'm happy. I'm crying for joy, 20 million people in the world are attracted to the highest practice there is, to the highest spiritual practice that we recognize This is a sign that the world is evolving. This is a sign that the world is close to enlightenment. The entire world is on the edge of enlightenment. If 20 million people are doing yoga, the world is on the edge of enlightenment. You know, he said, you don't understand what's going on, you know. This is something extraordinary, you know. And then I said, you know, Rinpoche, you know, it's not like that. They just go and lose weight, and, you know, they don't, to look good, they don't care about the deeper things about yoga. And he said, no, you don't understand. They're all Geshes. They have been Geshes in their past life. Okay? They were all Geshes, you know. And then I said, Rinpoche, how many Geshes graduate from our monastery every year? Like 2? Then there's 20 million of them, there's only 2 Geshes, you know, even if they all died, there wouldn't be enough. You know? And then he's like, no, you don't understand. There's many worlds in the universe. There are Geshes on other planets, there are monasteries on other planets. People are practicing yoga in many worlds. And then 20 million of them have been born in this world. This is something amazing, you know. He's like going on like he's really, really happy, you know. And he kept crying and he kept saying, oh, the world is on the edge of enlightenment, the world is on the edge of enlightenment, you know. So, how so? You see, why would a lot of people standing on their heads mean that the world is on the edge of enlightenment? And we say, it goes back to what Master Patanjali said, page 3, okay, at the bottom. He said, Yogaschita Vritti Nirodha. We become whole by stopping how the mind turns, you see? So yoga in India, yoga in Tibet, yoga in the old days, it didn't mean just doing it. The poses are very, very important. The physical poses are really, really important. But it's just part of a larger process of understanding how things really work, okay? Yoga is just part of a larger practice for understanding how the world really happens. What makes the world work? How do things work in the world? And if large numbers of people were able to understand the principles behind yoga, how the world works, if large numbers of people were able to understand that, then this world would change drastically, radically. Okay? So, give an example, right? What are you talking about? We say that if you come to the deeper realizations of yoga, then you actually understand why things happen and how things happen. You get to a deeper understanding of how all things work. And it's not just some spiritual thing, okay? If you understood how all phenomena in the world actually work, and you applied it in your daily life, then strange things would happen, okay? Beautiful things would happen. So I'll give you an example. My Lama, after about 8 years in the monastery, he said, I want you to start a business, you know? And I'm like, what? And he said, I want you to go to New York and start a business, you know? And I'm like, Rinpoche, I came to the monastery to get away from all that, you know? That's the last thing I want to do is go to New York. And the last thing I want to do is start a business, you know? I'm not interested. I came here, I want to meditate, I want to study, you know, I don't want to, that's like the last thing I'd want to do. He said, you are living in a sterile environment, you see? You are living in a monastery, everybody's meditating, everybody's practicing. You don't see the real world, you know? There's monks, there's a joke in our monastery that when an older monk has to go to Dharamsala to see the Dalai Lama, he needs to take a younger monk with him to buy the bus ticket, you know? Because they don't know how to count. And they don't know where to go to get a bus ticket, you know? And they always take a younger monk with them. And he said, you're going to end up like that, you know. You won't know anything about the world. You have studied the deeper teachings. You supposedly understand how reality itself works. Now prove it, you know. Go prove it. Let New York be your laboratory, you know. And see if you can start a business from scratch. And then I'm like, yes, Rinpoche, I'll look into it. You see, you can't, what do you call it, contradict your Lama, or else you get fan belts and stuff like that. So, you know, you stick out your tongue, which is honorific, you know. Yes, Rinpoche. I will start looking into it, you know. And then you just stall, you know, indefinitely. It's a well-developed skill in the monastery. It's stalling to avoid what your Rinpoche wants you to do. So I stalled for like a year. And then he came to New York, he actually came to Rutgers, and he gave a talk like this one day, and I was his driver. I was his driver, his dishwasher, his gardener, you know, his launderer. And it was a beautiful, it was such a beautiful talk. And we got in the car, and I drove him back, and I said, Rinpoche, I'll do anything you want. Just tell me what you want. He said, start a business in New York next week. You know, I'm like, okay. And then I said, well, what kind of business do you want? And he said, we'll give the money to the refugees. You know, we'll give all the... I just want you to prove to yourself that you understand how reality works. And I want you to prove it to yourself in a real world, not just sitting in a monastery. So then I said, what kind of business do you want? And he said, you meditate about it. So then I did this deep meditation. Actually, it happened a few years before that. Like 8 years before that. And in the meditation, I saw that one day I would be in the diamond business, okay? I should be in the diamond business. So I didn't know anybody in the diamond business, and I didn't know a diamond from a piece of gravel, and I don't like jewelry, and I don't like fashion, and I don't like the whole thing. I don't like business. When I was here at Princeton, business people were considered dirty, you know, and then people in the jewelry business, like on New York, 47th Street, they're considered like slimy people, and they kind of get you in, and then they're like, they talk too fast, and they're, you know, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that, you know, but I got on the bus. In those days, you could smoke on the bus. So it was a 2-hour ride to New York, and people smoking on the bus. And it was, the first day I just died. I almost died. And I went to 30 diamond stores, and everyone threw me out. Because they said, do you know diamonds? And I said, no. And they said, is your family in the business? I said, no. So you can steal $1 million of diamonds in about 10 minutes, right? So nobody's going to let you work in a store, or especially a wholesale. And everybody just threw me out. Then I met this Israeli guy. He didn't speak English very well. He said, I'll hire you as a, what do you call it? A gopher, a messenger boy. So you know, he gave me $7 an hour with a Princeton degree. And then we started like that. Then I asked my Lama, how do you want me to do the business? You know, how am I supposed to do the business? He said, use the Diamond Cutter Sutra. This sutra was written 2,500 years ago by the Buddha. Okay, and it's a very confusing book. It's like the Buddha took LSD and then wrote this book, and it's a very confusing book. You know, and then I asked my Lama, you know, how am I supposed to start the business? He said, you use this book. Then I'm like, how do you use this book? He said, that's your problem. But the key is there. The key is in there. If you can find it, you can start a business. You know. So then we started with 3 people. Now the company has 10,000 people. It's $250 million a year. It was sold last April to Warren Buffett. Okay. We doubled every year for 15 years straight. So it's the fastest growing company in the history of Manhattan. Okay? Just using this old book. You see? Just using some kind of deep principles of where reality comes from. You know, you can crack the code of the world, and you can make things happen in a very, how do you say, predictable way. It's not some kind of like new age, what do you call it? Pie in the sky thing, okay? It's like you learn certain ideas, and then you can make stuff happen in your life, and it's very cool. And then we would say all the other people who are not using it are crazy, you know? Like they are working so hard, and they are trying to do different investment strategies, or they're trying to do this, or they're trying to do that, or they get up early, or But they do marketing, advertising, product development, accounting, all this stuff. We say, not necessary. You know, I made that company in my spare time. That company went from 3 people to 10,000 in my spare time. Like at the end I was working half a year. 6 months on, 6 months off, 3 days a week. Leave at 5, get there at 10. You know, and then because if you understand how reality works, you can just change things and make things happen. Okay. Then I had a bone in my foot. I had a, what do you call it? Handicap in my foot, a very serious handicap. And I had trouble walking. I had a lot of trouble walking. There were days when I couldn't get out of bed. And then, you know, I asked my Lama, you know, what should I do about my foot? The doctor says it's very advanced gout, and I will have to take, what do you call those things that athletes aren't supposed to take?
Steroids.
Steroids. Yeah, he said if you take steroids the rest of your life, you can walk, but that's all. And I said, well, what do the steroids do to you? He said, they ruin your liver, you know, but you don't have a choice. You know, you either walk, take them and walk, or don't take them and sit in bed, you know. And then I asked my Lama, do you have some other suggestion? He said, what did he say? He said, diamond cutter. Just use the diamond cutter sutra and tweak the reality of the bone in your foot. And then I did, okay? I did. My brother has the same thing because it's hereditary. He's been taking the steroids most of his life, and his liver is ruined. I never took them. And now I do ballet on that foot, okay? At age 50, I started ballet. Last year I got the girl up in the air, you know, on point, right? And I changed the bone. I fixed the bone. You see, you can just reach in and you change things, okay? So you can use it for anything. You can use it for anything. People come to me all the time, I'd like to find a nice partner or something like that. And then I say, oh, let me show you the diamond cutter, you know, diamond cutter sutra. So what Master Patanjali is describing here is real yoga. And real yoga is understanding how things work. And you are able to understand how things work better if you do physical yoga, okay? The physical yoga helps the mind if you do it properly and if you understand it. And then you can do anything in your life, anything you want, you know? We started a business 6 months ago. We're like, we want to do a business to help other businesses to, you know, spread these ideas. So we just started a little thing, and then we get a phone call, and we're like, well, who is this? And he said, this is British Airways. You have the time in your schedule to come to London and do some consulting for us. You know, I have time in my schedule, and then I said, well, what do you want us to do? You know, they said, we have 40,000 employees, and we're having trouble. Can you come and fix it with your diamond cutter thing? You know, it was really strange phone call. But things like that, you see, you can make stuff happen. You can start something and then it will just work out. But you have to understand how the world works. And that is what Master Patanjali describes as yoga. Okay, so Yoga's Chittavritti Nirodha is one of his opening lines. And he says yoga is stopping how your mind turns things around. So the big idea is that your mind turns things around the wrong way. Your mind constantly is misunderstanding things, not just a little bit, but 180 degrees. Okay? Chinchilopa in Tibetan. Your mind is twisting things, and that's vritti. Okay? Vritti, the Sanskrit root vert means to, like vortex comes from that, wire comes from that, and weird comes from that. Okay? It means the mind weirds things. The mind twists things around. The mind doesn't understand the world. And then Master Patanjali says, I define yoga as the untwisting of the mind's function. You know, yoga's chittavritti nirodha. Stop the mind from turning things around, and that's yoga. Okay? And the physical poses help. The physical poses are only one part of the 8-part path to untwisting the mind. Got it? I like at this point to get out of the philosophy and just give you a real example. Just show you something real that matters to you, okay? And we'll talk about how your mind is twisting it around. And if you learn it with one thing, you can do it with anything. You can start a business and make it the fastest growing business in the history of New York. You can fix major medical problems in your body. You could find a perfect partner, or I always say you could upgrade your current partner. So I asked someone on the way in, I said, can you give me a bottle of aspirin? And they gave me Advil, okay? So say, let's call it aspirin, okay? I'm going to demonstrate to you what it means for your mind to be twisting things around, okay? And then if you get it with the aspirin, then you can get it with anything, and you can do anything, okay? By the way, it also applies to yoga poses. You can't do physical yoga. You will never succeed in your yoga practice if you don't understand the same principles, okay? They can make your yoga work. David Life often tells me, the day you walked into Jivamukti Yoga past the Ganesh statue through the Krishna singing, you used to look, Geshe used to look like the Pillsbury Doughboy. You were like fat. And, I was like, and then he said, I mean, you can use it to change your body, your physical appearance, your health. You can change it. So stick with me for 10 minutes. I'll give you just one example. Try to stay there for 10 minutes. Just stay with me for 10 minutes. And then you can do whatever you want. You see, I say you can accomplish anything in your life that you want easily, okay? If you just understand this one idea. How is your mind twisting things around? Okay? How is your mind twisting things around? Okay, what is this thing?
Aspirin.
We're going to call it aspirin, okay? It's really not Advil, but we're going to call it aspirin. What's it for? What do you use it for? Yeah, when you have a headache. I mean, I use it for a headache. When you have a headache, you take it. I feel sometimes when I get to this moment right now, I feel like I came from another planet. I feel like I came from planet like B, and I'm talking to a bunch of people on planet A. And we don't understand how your minds work. We're very curious about you people. We don't exactly understand why you do the things you do. We've been studying your planet for a while. We've been observing you through telescopes, and we're curious, about you, because you seem to have some strange behavior. This is an aspirin, and you say it's for what? It's to take a headache away, for example, and therefore it's what I think you refer to it as a medicine in your world. It's a medicine, right? How do you define a medicine? What's a medicine? In your world, don't be shy. I'll tell you my planet's version.
I think it heals you.
How would you? Yeah, it takes away illness. It's something you swallow or you get injected into you, and it takes away illness, right? And that's the meaning of a medicine, right? That's just what a medicine is. And aspirin is one kind of medicine, because when you take it, then some pain goes away in you. Now, we've been watching you from our planet. We've had spies, sitting next to you in all kinds of places. And we've had some strange observations, okay? We've seen you people getting headaches, and then we've seen you with your hands shaking. You're like, gotta have an aspirin, and then, we've watched you, you seem to have trouble opening the bottle. There's some kind of fail-safe thing there to keep your younger ones from opening the bottle, right? And then we notice that you get the pill out, and then you swallow it, and then we observe you closely to see what happens, because we didn't originally know why you were doing that. We could tell there was some physical discomfort, right? And then we had this strange, it was difficult to find out why you were taking them. Because sometimes an hour later you had a smile on your face and you were like, relief, you know? And then sometimes your face was still scrunched up like 2 hours later. And then you had the bottle again. And then you were trying to get it open again. And then you took 2 more. And then after 2 hours your face was still scrunched up. And then you took 2 more. And we couldn't understand what you were doing. Like, why were you taking more of them? Because what? It didn't work, okay? Like, it's an odd thing, the aspirin in your world. It seems like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, okay? It seems like that. When it doesn't work, is it a medicine?
No.
No, you can't call it medicine, right? He's smart, he's already knows. No, I mean, yeah, technically you can't call it medicine. If you could swallow a thing and it didn't take your headache away and it could still be called a medicine, then you could call rocks medicine or jelly beans medicine, or right? Because they don't take your headache away either. Got it? So what you have here is a thing which is sometimes medicine and sometimes not medicine. Got it? And it works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes. So then you know, we're curious about you guys. And we're just wondering why do you take this particular tablet when you have a headache? And then they say, you guys answer, oh, it has a special, what do you call it? Chemical. There's a drug inside of it that helps your headache. You know, there's some kind of drug. It's listed on the site here, it's called active ingredient, right? It has an active ingredient in it. And that's why we take those things. That's why we take aspirin. And then we ask, yeah, he's already getting it. So we ask, so most of the aspirin is made of what? It's like cornstarch or something, okay? So what do you call it? It's just a filler, and then there's a few grains of real medicine inside. And then it's the medicine inside that, right, that fixes your headache, okay? And that's called the active ingredient, right? Is it always active? No. This is getting weird. Okay, now you have to understand what it feels like for someone who doesn't know what you're doing, okay? I'm from another world, and I'm curious about your world. And I've noticed you pay money for these things. You pay money for the ones that work, and you pay money for the things that don't work. You buy the whole bottle, right? So now I'm curious. Are there some pills in there which have the active ingredient in them? And are there some pills there that don't have the active ingredient in them? Huh?
We don't know.
No, I mean, unless it's illegal, you know, we're not talking other countries, we're talking America. FDA. No, I mean, there are other countries where they put rat poison in them because they want to save money. I've been there. No, in this country, it's supposed to be that each tablet is the same. There's a lot number, you can check. So you're telling me that there's a bottle of tablets and they all have an ingredient inside of them which is the same. And then you take the tablet when you have a headache, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Am I right? Mm-hmm. And you people pay for those things. You buy the bottle. You buy it happily. Right? So don't you feel a little bit dumb?
Yeah.
No, I mean, don't you feel strange to pay for something and knowing that it may not work? I mean, why do you do that? Why don't you just get the pills to work every time? I don't want to embarrass you, okay? You can just be truthful. Why do you buy that? It might work. Yeah, I like that, okay? It might work. But why don't you buy a bottle of pills that always works? Why don't you get the brand that always works? I've watched your televisions. I've seen the advertisements. Every year there's a breakthrough. They say this one really works, right? When you say really, what does that mean about the ones that came before? They didn't really work, okay? I've watched your TV, it's very interesting. then is there an aspirin that works every time?
No.
No, there's not. Do the pills in this particular bottle work every time?
No.
It said no. Is there a difference between the pills, physically? Is there a difference between what's inside the pills? Now comes a really important question, okay? And I'm trying to untwist your mind, okay? I'm trying to yogaschittavrti nirvana, right? Could it be the case that there is some other thing that makes the active ingredient work? Is that possible?
Yes.
I think you have to say that. I don't think you have a choice. I think you have to say that. There must be, scientifically speaking, there must be something other thing which makes the active ingredient work when it works. And when it doesn't work, can we say that other thing must be missing? Can we say that? That there must be some condition or some cause or some factor which when you take the aspirin and it works, the factor is there. And when you don't take it, when you take it and it doesn't work, the factor is not there. Can we say that? Can we say it would be nice to find out what the hell the factor is? Okay, it'd be nice to know what it is that makes the aspirin work when it works, okay? And could we say the same thing about an investment strategy? And could we say the same thing about a medical treatment, like an operation? You know, could we say the same thing about strategies for finding a beautiful girl or a boy? You see, someone to be a partner. Could we say all the strategies you ever had in your life for health or money or companionship, they're all like the aspirin, right? Can we say that? They are. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work, right? You've been to that thing, you open up the Wall Street Journal, I have, and on the front page there's a guy in handcuffs being led up a jet airplane ramp in Hong Kong because he took all his company's money and he made a very particularly risky investment and he failed. He's just a small guy, he's a middle manager, and he took all the money and invested it. He thought he'd be a hero and he lost it all, and then he ran away. This is a real story. And they caught him in Hong Kong getting off the plane, right? Then on page 3, there's another article about Microsoft Corporation, that they are too conservative and they should take more chances, right? So I ask you, which works? Risky investments or conservative investments? No, you have to do like that, especially nowadays that everybody lost their money. You know, you have to say we don't know. Sometimes risky investment works, sometimes you fail. Sometimes conservative investment works, sometimes you fail. And everybody's dying to know what's the factor that made it work when it worked, and what's the factor that made it not work when it didn't work. And that's all. If you could find out that thing, then you could make money easily. You could easily double your company every year, no problem. Or you could find a perfect, beautiful partner. Or you could fix a bone in your foot. You see, if you understood how stuff worked with just one thing, you could do that with everything. Got it? So I'm going to try to teach you how. Okay, this is how the missing factor. Okay, this is the active ingredient below. This is what makes the active ingredient active. Got it? Okay, it's very interesting. We say it's nothing in the pill, right? It's not that you add something else to the pill to make it work. That wouldn't be very practical. If you had to buy a bottle of Advil, and then you had to buy some other powder, and then you put the powder on the pill and then take it, right? It's not a physical thing. Got it? It's not some other ingredient that you have to add to the pill. It's not like that, okay? So what other possibility? What other possibility? If it's not a physical thing.
Non-physical thing. thing.
Huh?
A non-physical thing.
Yeah, so how many non-physical things are there? Yeah, mental thing. It's maybe some mental thing, okay? So now we have to explore what kind of mental thing makes an aspirin work. You know, what is it? And now I'll ask you, is it wishing that it worked? No. Is it just wishing harder than other people that your aspirin would work? You see, yeah, let's say something's coming from your mind that gives the active ingredient, it makes it active, you see? But I think we can say that it's not, what do you call it? Wishing. You know, you wish, everyone who ever took an aspirin wished, right? That their headache would go away. So it can't be wishing, you see? It has to be some energy in your mind which acts without other than your wishing. Okay? In fact, I should say it's some kind of thing in your mind which is forced on you. You are forced to perceive it in a certain way. Okay? We say, okay? Here, you just have to listen for 3 more minutes. Then you can space out after that. We say a seed opens in your mind at the time you take the aspirin. Okay? As you raise the aspirin to your lips, a seed opens in your mind. If that seed opens, the aspirin will work. If that seed doesn't open, the aspirin will not work. There's a seed in your mind for seeing the aspirin work. Okay? How do you think? How do we say you plant that seed? You see? Just plant that seed before you take the aspirin, and then take the aspirin, and then you'll never have a headache, a sustained headache for the rest of your life. That's interesting. Okay, that would be good. Or you could make $250 million. You know, how do you plant those seeds? We say, if you want a banana, you have to plant a banana seed. If you want a watermelon, you have to plant a watermelon seed. Okay, there's lucky thing. It's a lucky thing. There's always a similarity between the result and the cause. That's just the way it is. Okay? That's lucky, you know? That means we can eat. That means farmers can, you know, what do you call it? Comfortably they can buy rice seed because they know rice is going to grow out of it. If you planted rice seeds and got watermelons, there'd be a problem. In the world, it would be a big problem. You know, then you'd have to buy all the seeds you could get. And then you'd have to just plant them and see what comes up. You see, I mean, it's a very basic thing, but it's extremely important. It's an amazing thing. It's a miraculous thing. You plant a watermelon seed, you plant a black thing that came out of a watermelon that you ate last year, and you can have a watermelon this year. It's a miracle. It's some kind of beautiful miracle. It's a very profound thing, okay? Stuff tends to grow the same way as it was, okay? So if you wanted to have an experience of relief from the pain of a headache, what would be the seed? You would tend to someone else who was having a headache. It's that simple, okay? It's that simple. It's not religious, okay? It's just practical. That was the great breakthrough that my Lama pushed me to. He said, you go to New York, you get out of the monastery, you see if these ideas work in real life, you see? So it's not some kind of, that you have to believe in aspirinism. You see what I mean? It's not like you have to believe in it, right? It's just practical. If you want this tablet, there is an active ingredient. Why? Because if you swallow jelly bean, it never takes your headache away, mostly. Okay? I mean, there is something in here that does something. It appears that way. But it has to be activated. Okay? What activates it? Seed in your mind. What kind of seed do you want in your mind? I don't want to see myself have a headache. I want to see the headache go away. How do you plant a seed by that? How do you plant that kind of seed? Kick somebody? There's no similarity. You see, the cause is not similar to the result. If you want the headache to stop, the seed must be tending to someone else who has a headache. Okay? We tend to ignore sick people. They're not interesting. They're no fun. You can't go to a movie with them. They just have to lay in bed. You know? We don't like sick people. Whether you actively think that or not, practically that's how you live. You know? When was the last time you went to the hospital to care for somebody? Or to spend time with someone who's down, flat, can't get up? You go once. You take flowers once. You listen to their story. Oh, this happened. I was just walking along, and then suddenly I felt this pain, and then and you listen politely to their story. It's not interesting, really. You go, oh yeah, you really shouldn't have eaten so many chocolate chip cookies, and now you've got this thing. And then you say, well, what are you doing? And what did the doctor say? And you listen to them, and the doctor did this, and the doctor did that. And then you say, well, okay, I gotta catch a movie with my friend, I'll be back next week. And then you don't go, because they're no fun. Just sit there and listen to what the doctor told them, or what kind of pains they're having now. It's not interesting. So we tend to ignore sick people. If you want aspirin to work, if you want the active ingredient to be active, you don't have a choice. You have to tend to sick people. Okay? You must tend to sick people. Tend to a sick person, then go buy any kind of headache remedy you want, and it will work. Got it? Then it will work. Tend to a sick person, put the seed in your mind. What's that called in India? What's that seed called? What's the name in Sanskrit? It's just karma. Okay, so everything you heard about karma is wrong. Alright? I don't know what you heard. But visiting a sick person, caring for them, helping someone who has a headache, that plants a seed in your mind. And then the next time you open up a bottle of Advil, it will work. It will take away your headache, okay? That's the thing that makes the active ingredient active, okay? What about money? What if you were starting a company? What if your mama said, go to New York and start a company? What should you do? Should you take risks or should you be conservative? Should you take Advil or aspirin? Huh? No, you have to plant the seed and then you can take Advil, or it doesn't matter what you take then. Take Advil if you like Advil. Take aspirin if you like aspirin. Whichever one tastes better, take it. And it will work. What about financial strategies? Should you be conservative or should you take risk?
Doesn't matter.
Huh? Just say, doesn't matter. Plant the seed. Plant the seed and then take a risk if you feel like taking a risk. Or be conservative if you feel like being conservative. Why? Either one will work. Okay? If you want to attract a boy, I have a big question, okay? You gotta go to Sephora. We all agree on that. Okay? You gotta go to Sephora. But should you buy the Lancome? Or should you buy give me any other brand, I don't know all the brands. Estee Lauder. Should you buy the Lauder or should you buy the Lancome? That's my only question. Which one?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, it's the same as the aspirin, okay? Plant the seed. Plant the right seed. And then you can go to the Lauder or you can go to Lancome. It doesn't matter, they will both work. If you don't plant the seed, what?
Neither.
It won't work. You can put anything you want on your face. It's not going to work. The guy will just think it's ugly. No, seriously, honestly. And in the same face, plant the seed, the same makeup, the same stuff, put it on, and he will find it extraordinarily attractive. Okay? It's not the makeup, okay? And it's not the aspirin, and it's not the strategy. You got to understand that. Just it's the seed. Plant the seed and then do what you feel like. Wear the red, wear the orange. They'll both work. Got it? How do you plant seed for a boy? What do you want out of a boy? I want companionship. I want some good company. I want someone that I like to be around. So what should you, how do you plant that seed?
Make others.
Go be a companion to someone who, the elderly are very, very good. Okay, they are extremely lonely. What do you want? I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to go home and open a can of beans and that's my dinner, you know. I also don't want to go home and fix a big pad thai dinner for 2 hours and then eat it by myself. You know, it's a drag. Both of them are a drag. 15 minutes opening a can of beans is a drag for yourself. And then going home and cooking this exquisite, opening up Julia Child and doing the whole beef bourguignon thing for 4 hours. And then eat it for 5 minutes by yourself. It's not fun, right? You want someone to share your life with. So then you have to share your life with somebody. And that plants a seed. And then you can wear whatever you want and it'll work. Got it? Thinking that way is untwisting your mind. Okay? Thinking that way is untwisting your mind. Got it? And what's that? What is it if you untwist your mind?
Yoga.
That's yoga. Okay? You were hoping we were going to do exercises. But all you got was a lecture about aspirins. Okay? But that's real yoga, you see? That's real yoga. Got it? That's yoga. How is your mind twisting things around? Your mind thought there was something in the aspirin that would take away your headache. Your mind thought that there was something in Lancome that wasn't in the Estee Lauder. Okay? Your mind thought that, somewhere in your mind, you thought that slightly risky investments were better than slightly conservative investments. You have those, what do you call it?
Superstition.
Biases, or I don't know what you call it. You have those, what's another word for bias?
Irrational belief.
Perspective.
I don't know. Predilection is close, okay? You tend towards one thing or the other. You deep in your heart, I know I grew up, where I grew up in Arizona, and my dad liked Chevys better than Fords. So for the first 20 years of my life, I thought Chevys were better than Fords. For no rational reason. Just my dad likes Chevys. And Chevys are, my family says Chevys are better than Fords, right? And then you have it about everything. Aspirins are better than Advils. What's the other one? It starts with an A. Aleve are better than Advils. You think that, or deep down in your heart you think, Lucky Brand jeans are better for attracting boys than Levi's, or something like that. You have all these slight choice, what do you call that?
Preferences.
But it's irrational preference. Bias. I guess bias is pretty good. You have all these slight biases between stuff that all works the same anyway. Or it doesn't work the same anyway. And it has nothing to do with what you thought. Got it? That's twisted thinking. That's yoga's chitta. That's chittavritti. Okay? That's twisted thinking. Anytime you think one thing is better than another thing, or you think one thing is going to work better than another thing, because there's something in it that makes it work better than another thing, your mind is twisting. Your mind is already twisting, Escape that, overcome that. Work with seeds. Work with the seeds. Work in the realm of the seeds. And then don't take any choice you want. Doesn't matter anymore. Help a lonely, elderly woman once every 2 weeks for an hour, and then go to Sephora. And take whichever one comes to your hand, take it. I would take the cheapest one, because there ain't much cheap stuff there. And then it doesn't matter, you see? It will work. Whatever you want from Sephora, it's gonna work. Got it? It's the same as aspirin. And financial strategy is the same. Be generous to the poor. And then take risk if you want, or be conservative if you want. It won't matter. You'll make money either way. We made money. Whenever we did it, it worked. It was dumb. It was crazy. Like 1 year we'd try one thing and it would work. And then another year we'd do the opposite and that would work. You see? Why? Because we were helping poor people with the money. Okay? But I see lots of people who help poor people who are broke. I mean, if it was obvious that everybody who helped poor people made money, everybody would already be helping poor people. There's good, Mother Teresa was broke. I mean, those Sisters of Mercy, they're always like grubbing for money in India. Okay? Then we say technique. There's technique. You have to learn technique. There are technique questions here. You have to know the technique. Okay? We're going to do that tonight. That's a teaser for tonight. Okay? You have to come tonight. You also have to go to yoga. Why? Now we get into another thing. Let me see what page. Can you give everybody those things? Page, let's say page 8, huh? No, page 9. These are three famous verses from the Yoga Sutra. Okay? Recite them after me for good luck. Okay, you ready? Say Bhuvanas Jnanam, Surya Sanyamat. Bhuvanas Jnanam, Surya Sanyamat. Chandre, Tara Vyuhas Jnanam. Dhruve, Tat Gatis Jnanam. These are the three very, very famous lines from the Yoga Sutra, okay? I would like to draw a connection between understanding how stuff works and physical yoga practice, okay? Like, somehow today, like Princeton itself was kind of funny today. We got the person from the physical, what do you call it? The recreation department came and welcomed me. And then the people from the yoga, and then, I mean, what it means is that yoga is a little hard to define. You know, do we put it in the PE department, or do we put it in the religious studies department, or do we put it in the business school, you see? And what's the connection? Why would you put yoga in the business school, you see? Why am I talking about business tonight and talking about yoga today, all right? Why? Because there's a big connection between the two, all right? There's a very beautiful connection between the two. And it has to do with Bhuvanas Jnanam Surya Sanyamat. It has to do with, these are three verses from the Yoga Sutra. Okay? So I'm going to teach you a little bit about the inner body, which is affected by yoga. And when you affect the inner body by yoga, you can understand how to untwist your mind better. Got it? Doing yoga helps your inner body, and then it makes your mind, it makes things change in your mind, inside your mind. And then you can apply these things faster and better. You can make a $250 million company. I taught this method to 2 ladies in New York, okay? I sat there and taught 2 ladies in New York. They were secretaries at an ad agency in New York, okay? Their names are Linda Kaplan-Taylor and Robin Koval, okay? And I taught this, I gave this talk, the talk you're getting today I gave to them. And they were working for an ad agency. They were so turned on by it that they quit. And they rented an apartment and they started their own advertising agency. Now it's $1.4 billion a year, okay? They own a skyscraper in the middle of Manhattan. It's called Kaplan-Taylor Advertising. They do the Aflac ducks and all that. Oh, really? I'm supposed to stop pretty soon. They do the Aflac duck ads and all that. They do American Airlines. She invented the Toys R Us jingles. And I taught them this, okay? And it's cool, alright? So what? I'll do it fast and then we'll go do yoga, okay? Because then you'll want to do yoga, okay? The body contains 72,000 different subtle channels. They constitute your inner body. They are made of light. They are not made of flesh. If you cut the body open, you won't see them. But they're physical. Inside those channels travels an energy called prana. In Tibet it's called Lung. In China it's called Qi. In Japan it's called Qi. Okay? Inside those channels rides a certain energy. Okay? And there's a beautiful thing. just say it for good luck, okay? This is the first thing they teach you in the secret yoga room in my mother's learning, okay? You have to learn this. This is the first thing you have to learn. Say Lung, Sem, Jupa, Chipa. Lung, Sem, Jupa, Chipa. The wind or prana moving in your inner body and your own thoughts are inextricably, anyway, they ride in tandem. They are linked, okay? They ride in tandem. The prana is like the horse. Ta. Say ta. And the thoughts are like the horse rider. Say tapa. So the thoughts ride on the prana in the way that a horse rider rides on a horse, okay? If you could facilitate the flow of prana in the body, the ability to think would change. Okay? Your ability to understand things would change. See? You would understand aspirin very fast, very quickly, and you could act on it. You see, you understood it today, but will you act on it? I don't know. You know, the next time you want to attract a boy, will you go to a nursing home? You see? How many people in the room will go to a nursing home to attract a boy? Because of my talk. You see? If you can open the channels, and if you release the prana, you're more likely to do it, to actually do it, I'm saying. You see? Because it won't work if you don't do it, right? I can talk to you all day about nursing homes and giving away to poor people and visiting sick people. But if you don't do it, nothing will happen. You have to get to some kind of, what do you call it? Critical mass, where you will actually try what I'm saying. You get to that critical mass faster if you do physical yoga. If you do yoga asanas, you will reach that critical mass faster. Okay? Why? Because your prana will flow. And your thoughts are linked to your prana. Lung Sem Jupa Chipa. Your ability to think, your ability to understand is linked to your inner body. If you do a properly designed yoga exercises, your ability to think will change. You see? You will be faster. You will outthink all the other business people or girlfriends or, what's the other thing? Doctors, okay, whatever. Your ability to think will change. I'll do it quickly. I know we have to start the yoga in a couple of minutes. What I'd like you to impress on you though is to come and try the yoga, okay? Even if you hate exercise, okay? I can say in this room I'm the one person who hates exercise more than anybody. I can't stand exercise, and I never could, okay? But come to the yoga. It's simple. It's easy. It was designed by a very beautiful woman 1,000 years ago. It's the oldest yoga series written down that we have by 500 years. Okay, the Hatha Yoga Padivika is maybe 580. 500 years, sorry, 1500. So it was 500 years later after. This yoga that you're going to learn today, which is incredibly, stupidly easy, and anybody can do it. She designed it with a very, very advanced understanding of the inner body. She understood the inner body better than anyone in her time. Exactly 1,000 years ago. And she designed this yoga in a special way that changes the mind by changing the inner body. Got it? It's very beautiful. It will. And I just don't want to make you smarter. I don't want to make you like 10% smarter or something like that. That's not my goal. My goal is that you make a breakthrough about understanding where stuff comes from. Then you can make a $250 million company, whatever you want. Those ladies outdid me 4-1. Those two ladies, you know? It's one of the largest advertising companies in the world now. Well anyway, that's a long story. We don't have time. Okay, say Pingala. Pingala. This is the red channel. Patanjali calls it Surya, the sun channel. It starts here. Okay, so try. Put it on the right side. Then it goes up under the skull, It passes under the skull, it comes behind. I'm going to go till 4:30, is that okay, Vinay? But it's okay? Then we do the other thing 20 minutes later or something, you know? Okay, because the yoga only takes an hour, but to explain the yoga takes 2 hours. Okay. It starts on the right side, it goes up under the skull, and it passes down, out from under the skull, and then it continues on in front of your spine, just in front of your spine, continues down to your groin, and comes up to your sexual organ, okay? That's the Pingala. One branch splits down your right leg, okay? It's called Surya in this verse, right? Surya Sayama. It's called the sun channel. It's the hot channel, okay? If prana moves through this channel, if inner wind moves through this channel, you feel angry, okay? You feel upset. That's why it's the red channel. Pingala came into English as pink, okay? It's the red channel. You get red when you get angry. In Sanskrit, raga, right? Passion. Red, same root. Rakta, same root. You get red, you get angry, okay? So when prana moves through this channel, you feel upset or you feel angry, okay? Now, white channel, got it? You got your white channel? Mm-hmm. Guess what this one is? If the other one was the sun channel, this is the moon channel, Chandra, okay? Chandra channel. It starts on the left, same place next to your nostril. That's why you have 2 nostrils, by the way. They formed around these channels. It comes up under your skull, travels to the back of the neck, comes out under the skull, and then goes in front of the spine, curves up under your groin and to the end of your sexual organ, and then one branch goes down your left leg. In the right hand red channel flow your thoughts of anger, upset, stress, anxiety, okay? In the left hand channel flows your thoughts of wanting things unreasonably, okay? I like to say unreasonably. It's not wrong to want to help the world. It's not wrong to want to see people happy. It's not wrong to want a reasonable amount of money that doesn't hurt other people. It's not wrong to want 2 Boots pizza, because it's the best. And you're not an evil person if you eat pizza, okay? Or if you enjoy things, you're not evil, okay? That's not running through the left-hand channel. What's running through the left-hand channel? Your 4th piece of pizza is running to the left-hand channel. Okay? No kidding, okay? It's like when desire overcomes you and it makes you stupid, like that, okay? It's the 4th, for me it's the 6th, okay? It's like the 4th piece of pizza. Then desire, then there's prana running in this channel, okay? What's the test? When desire would make you hurt someone else, it's running to the left-hand channel. When the desire is so unreasonable and so uncontrolled that you would steal, or you would hurt someone, or you would say something to someone, or you would cheat on your taxes, or etc., then that prana is running to the left-hand channel. Got it? Okay, last channel. This one, the red one is a brick red, it's dull, it's opaque. The white one is a dull white, and it's called in Sanskrit, therefore, Ida. Say Ida. If you want to pronounce it correctly, you must turn your tongue back. Then everything you say will sound like Sanskrit. Ida. Hatha Yoga. Pandita. Mandala. It's the way to perfect pronunciation. No, it's true. It's true. It's called retroflex, right? So say Ida. Yeah, the Ida is the left-hand channel. And Ida means sheep, okay? Because sheep are colored white. Okay? Ida means sheep. Then in the middle there's a channel. This one is made of fire. This one looks like flame. It's very beautiful, okay? It's not a dull red or a milky white. You're talking the fire coming out of the back of it, F-104 or whatever it is. We're talking fire coming out the back of a jet, okay? And this one looks like that. It's colored the color of a candle flame. It starts here, Bhruvar Madhye, between the 2 eyebrows. Very famous in Sanskrit. Bhruvar Antare or Bhruvar Madhye. And then it goes under the skull, continues, comes down Same, in the middle. In fact, in Tibetan it's called Uma, which means the middle channel, okay? And then it comes down to the groin and up to your sexual organ, okay? In this channel, run your thoughts of understanding and wisdom and compassion and love and gentleness and all the good ones, okay? They all pass through this channel. That, when prana is moving in this channel, you feel content, you feel happy, you feel wise, you feel concerned for others' welfare, okay? Like that, all right? So, which channel do you want your prana in? Generally speaking, there's only enough prana to go in one at a time. The three are connected down in the lower part of your body. Four finger widths below, 4 angulis below your navel, nabi. They are connected. Generally speaking, there's only enough air pressure to feed one of the channels at once. Prana will be running in one channel or the other at any given time. All right? Now, we got like 10 more minutes. There's a problem here, okay? Check this out. When the red channel comes up to this point between your eyebrows, she's got red channel happening. It crosses over, and then it crosses back. So I'd like you to do it, because then you'll never forget it, you see? The red channel starts out at the right, you see? And then it crosses over and comes back. It crosses over the, what's the middle channel called in Sanskrit? Sushumna, say Sushumna. That's a long story, I won't tell you because we don't have time. Then, that's not the end of the bad news. What do you think happens with the white channel?
Same thing.
Same thing. Crosses over, comes back. If you're coordinated enough to do this, we let you do the asanas. You see? Anybody who can't do this, you can't come. Okay, it crosses over. Then the three channels continue parallel to each other, up the head. Okay? Up to the top of the head. At the top of the head, they cross again. At the back of the neck, they cross again. At the heart, they cross 3 times. Very, very heavy knot. This knot, by the way, is called granti in Sanskrit. Granti means a knot. Okay? So you have knots here between your eyebrow. You have one at the top of your head. You have one behind your neck. At the back of your neck, you have 3 crosses over behind the heart, 1 behind the navel, 1 just inside the top of the tailbone, 1 at the groin, and 1 at the tip of the sexual organ. Okay? Grantis. Okay, I need 3 more whites if you have, or anything. Straight. They gotta be straight. Okay. So something interesting happens. You're about to understand my talk today. You're about to make a breakthrough that would allow you to make $250 million and retire happily wandering around the world teaching people about pipe cleaners. Okay? Alright? You're about to make this breakthrough. Okay? But then the baby cries. Okay? The prana was just about to come into the middle channel. Then the baby cried and you felt, irritated. Okay? Then all the prana slipped into the red channel because you got irritated. Red channel got fat. Air pressure increased in the red channel. You can think of it like a water hose, like a garden hose, okay? Prana increased in the red channel, negative channel, anger channel, because you got irritated about the baby crying, okay? You were about to understand how to retire at 30 and spend the rest of your life having fun. And then suddenly you got irritated. Prana slipped out of the middle channel, went over to the red channel, and choked the sushumna. See, it chokes the sushumna, okay? Then you try to have a good thought. The guy's still talking. The guy's still talking. You're trying to follow. You're pushing prana into the sushumna, but it's not going. Why? This chokehold. This choke, pressure builds up. What happens in a garden hose if it's kinked and you keep increasing the pressure? What happens? Sooner or later it splits. Okay? Sooner or later it splits open. Get this. New channels spurt out to the sides. See like that? Maybe in the, these are all wide, okay? Maybe they go out like that, and they go out like that, and they go out like that. New channels spread out to the side. Now, move the perspective. Go to the top of the channels. Go to the top of the head. Look down somebody's body. Look down somebody's sushumna. Look down their central channel. What do the other channels look like? They look like bicycle spokes radiating out from the choke points. Got it? Because they burst out. The prana burst out and created new channels. Got it? You look down. This is hard to do, okay? If you can do this, you can come to the asanas, okay? You look down the central channel and you look at these radiating channels coming out. It looks like a bicycle wheel spokes radiating out, or the spokes of a cart wheel. So they are called in Sanskrit chakra, which is the Sanskrit word for a wheel. Okay, chakra means wheel. Why? Why do they call it chakra? Looking down the top at a choke point where extra channels have split out, it looks like the spokes of a bicycle wheel. So it was named by the yogis chakras. Okay. Your goal then in yoga, if you want to untwist your mind and see deeper into the very workings of things. By the way, we've been talking money, right? And then we've been talking health, fix your bone in your foot. We've talked a little bit about Sephora, right? What happens after that? Then take it bigger. Fix your country. Fix your planet. You see, it's very cool. We're not talking money. I mean, you start with small things. Your Lama sent you to New York to prove that it works with money. Then you come back and he says, you can use it for Afghanistan. You can use it for Iran, Iraq. You can use it for anything. You can fix the world this way. Got it? We started with small change, $250 million. Then we move up to the world's economy. Then we go to British Air tomorrow night. We leave 40,000 employees. We're fixing 40,000 employees. And they infect everybody else. 36 million passengers a year. Okay, so Lady Niguma says, our goal of yoga, open those chakras, release the central channel, let the prana flow in the middle channel. Compassion, knowledge, wisdom, contentment, happiness, caring about Afghanistan and Iraq, okay? It comes from an open central channel. So she says, your yoga should open your channels. And it should open them in order, from the bottom or from the top. Chiwone jumba lepana kawa, jumene ninga lepana choka, nimene dewa lepana keka, dewa ne norbiter lepana, tenkeki yeshi kili, dewa na domini yelebe, tingins in the number shoes. So very famous. In our monastery, very famous. Work up the chakras one by one. Go one by one up the chakras, okay? So, in 4 minutes, we're going to leave. I'll show you a practice. It takes half an hour. It was designed for business people. We designed it for people who are sitting behind a computer all day, okay? To do before they go to work. It takes half an hour. It's extremely powerful. It opens each of the chakras up one by one. It was invented by Lady Niguma. Lady Niguma is this beautiful Indian woman who lived 1,000 years ago. And she had a school on the Ganges River on an island called Salsa. And it's a very beautiful story. Her picture is the first picture in your reading, okay? That's her traditional painting of her. And she invented this yoga that you're going to study, all right? And it's very, very beautiful, very powerful, very easy. I have a special class that I teach in Arizona. You have to be 50 years old. And if you can do a down dog, you can't come. If you can get into down dog, you can't come to the class. You know, I only take people who are, you know, just a wreck. You know, and they're doing great. They're doing great. We have a friend, Christine Welsh. She just got her feet cut open and her bones broken by these doctors last year because she had rheumatoid arthritis, right? And then I said, try Niguma, try Lady Niguma's yoga. Just try it, Christine. You know, then I went to her house the other day. I was unpacking my 60-pound luggage, right? Because I always just try to fill it enough to get on the plane, right? 50 pounds is the limit. It's always 53 pounds, actually. So then, you know, she comes out of her house. She's like walking normally, and I'm like, that's weird, you know? And then she grabs the bag out of my hands, and she walks into the house with it, and I'm like, wow, you know? And I said, Christine, come back here, you know? And she's like, what? And I said, do you realize what you just did, you know? And she said, no, what, you know? And she's been doing Niguma every day, just for like 4 months. And her body changed. It's really nice. So Lady Niguma understood how the chakras work. And it's easy and it's fast. So you don't have to, you can come, don't worry, okay? Even if you're not dressed for it, just come. Just try it, okay? And it will open your chakras. Then your mind will change. And you will have deep insight into how things work. And then whatever you want will succeed. And your world will change. In the end, the only really fun thing is to fix the world, right? It's okay to make money. You should make money. I say money should be like oxygen. Everybody should have any money they want. Take care of it before you're 30, you know? And then you have a lot of time to help the world, right? Then you can save the world. So start with small things. You gotta open the chakras. And then you'll understand these things. And then you can do anything you want, you see? And it doesn't matter how old you are. I taught my stepmother, she's 85, okay? The other day I went to her house, I said, Mom, you wanna do some yoga? You want me to teach you some yoga? She says, no, I know yoga. Then I said, where did you learn? And she says, you taught me. And I said, when was that? She said, 1975, something like that, you know? And I said, so you're doing it? She said, I've done it every day since then. I'm still doing it. What you taught me, you taught me one meditation and you taught me one yoga. And I'm still doing it. She's 85. She just took a tour group to South Africa. Nobody can keep up with her. She's like carrying the bags and she's running to the airports and everybody's like, slow down, you know? So try it. It's just beautiful. It will work, okay? Just try it, no matter how clunky you feel. Right? I'm really super clunky. Okay? All right, so we'll adjourn. What do you think, Vinny? Start at 5, okay? Something?
Oh, sure.
Is that all right? Okay. So we'll start at 5 at Dillon Gymnasium, and you don't need anything. Just bring yourself.
Today we'd like to thank Geshe and Michael Roach for his wonderful time and enlightening lecture, and we will head over to Dillon Gym. If anyone needs help with directions, please see myself or one of the volunteers. There are other activities happening at Dillon Gym. This is a very bustling campus. So the room that we will be in is the multi-purpose room, which is actually one flight up. We'll need to go into the main entrance, into the main gym, where there will probably be a volleyball game. Go up the stairs and into the multi-purpose room. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.